Before Gabby Petito was reported missing and later found to be the victim of homicide in Wyoming, she and fiance Brian Laundrie were pulled over near Moab, Utah on August 12, 2021.
Subject just hit the curb.
A 911 call was placed earlier in the day, in which the caller says they saw an altercation between a couple outside the Moonflower Community Cooperative, a natural food store.
What were they doing?
We drove by and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
He was slapping her?
Yes, and then we stopped.
Petito and Laundrie were pulled over about 5 miles away soon after. It's unclear if police were aware of the call or its contents at the time they pulled the van over.
Petito and Laundrie had been documenting their cross-country trip since early August.
In the days and weeks after police body camera footage of the couple was released, national interest in Petito's case skyrocketed. Internet sleuths have combed through her Instagram for clues about her relationship with Laundrie. On TikTok, the hashtag Gabby Petito has been viewed over 1 billion times. We spoke to clinical and forensic psychologist Dr. Veronique Valliere about the couple's behavior seen in police body camera footage.
The 911 call describes some very alarming things. The fact that somebody was seen in public being slapped. We know domestic violence is particularly a private crime, and when it becomes public, that suggests a level of severity and escalation that's highly concerning.
When one of the officers at the scene first speaks to Petito alone, she tried to explain why she and Laundrie were arguing.
Some days I have really bad OCD, and I was just cleaning and straightening up the back of the van before, and I was apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean, because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I just get really frustrated.
When Gabby is describing her situation, she uses easily used mental health words like OCD and anxiety. That in no way, shape, or form, especially with younger people, means that that's a real thing, that that's a real mental health crisis. But she is describing an emotional state of extreme stress and distress.
I don't know, we've just been fighting all morning, and he wouldn't let me in the car before. And then
Why wouldn't he let you in the car? Because of your OCD?
He told me I needed to calm down. Yeah.
The other thing she reveals immediately is that she's completely dependent on this situation because she quit her job to go across the country. So she had nobody there, no resources but him. And that dependency and vulnerability needs to be taken into account.
Yeah, do you know if she takes anything?
She's crazy. No, I don't think so. No, none that I know of.
Brian was also interviewed by police at length, describing the altercation outside the natural food store before they were pulled over.
When he's interviewed, there's a very different take. He physically demonstrates putting his hands on her repeatedly through that body cam, pushing with both hands, pushing with one hand, holding himself away. And in the context of she's crazy, that's easily accepted as self-defense or restraining movements.
What was the disagreement about?
It was, I wouldn't even call it disagreement. It was just that I'm dirty and I can't change being dirty. Like I got dirty feet, I got sand on my flip-flops and stuff like that.
What amped her up? What stressed her out? And he says, my feet were dirty. I got sand in the van. All of things that look very innocuous that an overreacting person flipped out about. The other thing that strikes me immediately about this situation is most of the body cam is interviewing him. They look at him for injuries. They decided very quickly that he was the victim. Brian indicates himself that it never got physical until I locked her out.
We weren't physical before the point where I said, all right, let's just take a breather and like walk away for a minute. I'll lock the van up and I'll go for a walk this way and you can go walk that way on the block. And I was holding on to the keys because I didn't want to go anywhere. And my big fear is, I don't have my phone, I don't have a phone. So she goes off without me with a car. I'm on my own. So I was saying, let's just go for a walk, and she was trying to get the keys for me, so I was just going, just wait, back up, and that's when she hit me. And I didn't get, I don't want to push you, but I didn't get overtly physical. I was just trying to keep her away and not get hit.
Clearly, that was a panic situation for her. She may have feared being abandoned. She may have been left before. She may have other issues where he knows this theme of locking the van and walking away and leaving her alone. That's a very commonly used control tactic to force the victim to be aware of their dependence and their fear.
According to a police report obtained by the Washington Post, another 911 caller said Petito tried to climb in through the driver's side window after apparently being locked out.
At the very end of the video, she is nervous and says, "I'm not used to driving this car."
I just don't usually drive the van, so I just want to make sure it's not like far.
Now, to me, that should have been a red flag too, because earlier he says he has to maintain control of the keys and lock her out of the van so that she won't drive away without him. Those are two vastly contrasting presentations of what is likely to happen if she doesn't even want to drive to town.
Petito's body was found on September 19th, and her death ruled a homicide. A federal arrest warrant was issued for Laundrie after a Wyoming grand jury indicted him for the use of a debit card and PIN number that weren't his after Petito died. Federal investigators are searching for him in a wilderness area near Northport, Florida.
We have to draw some really hard lines where certain things aren't okay. Like, it's never okay to hit somebody in the face. And it's not okay to lock somebody out of their home or make them panic. Once this kind of behavior becomes public, it's escalated behavior. What we see in public, you can only magnify what must happen in private.